Oh, we're rolling?
Yeah.
Okay. And first up on our work session is Bojo's 50th anniversary.
Would you guys like to join us up here at the table?
Yeah,
Or
come
whatever
on
you
up.
like?
Sure.
Okay.
Bring a chair up there.
Mayor and Council, I'll kick it off just and then I'll let Bojo's team take over. April 1st is the 50th anniversary of Bojo's in Idaho Springs. You may not know this, I just found out today, but Bojo's is currently the largest restaurant in Colorado until Casa Bonita reopens in May.
Seating wise.
Seating wise, yeah. So that's kind of a cool thing. They came to us about a week ago and we're discussing their plans for their 50th anniversary, which I'll let them talk about. And in the process of that, we realized that there's an opportunity to hold an event in our CODA space that we have on Minor Street. We met with the Vitality Task Force today, and the conversation there, if you remember, that group is built of business owners, property owners, residents, and different stakeholders throughout the town. And that group is open to this idea of a CODA event happening on Minor Street, but we decided that probably the most logical solution would be to have one between 15th and 16th Avenue. So only the middle block of Minor Street would be closed and just for the Saturday of the event. So this would happen on April 1st. For liquor licensing purposes, there's really no concern because they all modified their premise, if you remember, last year. So we created what's called a common outdoor dining area. So from a special events perspective, this is a pretty easy one. We actually have more parking than we would on a normal CODA event when the whole street is closed. So I want you guys to go ahead and lead off the way. There's a couple questions we have for council that we need direction on. One involves the water wheel. There's an opportunity to create something like we had for the pumpkin to celebrate their anniversary. So it'd be just a pizza, which seems pretty easy. And we have a plan for that and we can put it up on the water wheel pretty easily. The other question involves vendors in that 15th to 16th block. Some of our vendors, like say Tommy Knockers or Bees Knees or Two Brothers, have the ability to serve in the CODA as well, but they won't have access to it because on that day, the side blocks will be open for traffic. So there was a question today about whether or not we would allow them to sell alcohol inside of the area where the CODA will happen. There's probably no legal reason why that couldn't occur, but we wanted to get direction from council on that point. But if you guys want to just talk about your plans in general. And
Sure. Okay, I'm Alex, by the way, I'm the general manager. This is Cody, she's the marketing director. So yeah, this is kind of like what we would like to do for April 1st. So again, closing Minor Street between 15th Avenue and 16th Avenue, ideally from like 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. And again, we're applying for this via CODA event. Actual events we're thinking would just take place from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. That gives us time for setup and takedown. Things that we're going to see happen is live music. I will have a stage for music and hopefully some proclamations and speeches. We are hopefully going to find anybody knows a local bakery, let me know, but do like some kind of cake cutting ceremony. We'll have cornhole, face painting, a napkin art table. Argo's going to come down and do some gold mining panning. And then again, we're inviting any local businesses or vendors to set up a booth or a table or something in that space. Since we won't have the extended patios, there's tons of space that we can use out there right now. So if Tommy Knockers or Mountain Prime or the Tea and Spice Shop wanted to set up something, like we would want to involve everybody to be out there to have a little, like, you know, a mini block party, including the community. So with that, then we also talked about maybe like possible banners or flags along Minor Street on the light post with our 50th anniversary logo on them. Some things like after filling out, I did submit the application. I'm not sure what else he might need from me, but we might have to talk about the possibility. This would be our responsibility. Bojo's would be sponsoring this. So this would be us renting porta potties or extra trash receptacles and stuff like that. With the water wheel, we are proposing March 27th, maybe 1 week earlier, but just a few days ahead of the event to kind of like tease the 50th anniversary to go to April 30th with the cover for the water wheel. And then along with that, we're going to hold a scavenger hunt in the city limits of Idaho Springs from April 1st to May 31st. We will have like rules and regulations saying it won't be on any private property. It's not going to be anywhere like that you have to climb, reach, or lift. And each week we're going to work with other businesses in the town to participate like on clues and to help drive local business and revenue up here during the mud season. So the grand prize is going to be an ounce of gold. Since 50 is the gold anniversary, this is where the gold rush began. So, yeah. And then, again, we were hoping to work with the ISMA and other chambers of the city to promote the event. We're looking to promote it just out throughout the entire state. So we have plans with news outlets, with Fox 31, possibly Channel 7 and Channel 4 to come out. Fox 31 for sure is coming out before the event, and then others to come out the date of the event, just to help promote the event and the future activation of Minor Street leading into the summer. So, and as well, we're gonna use our social platforms and commercials, so. Pretty much.
You guys submitted your application, like you said.
Yep,
This does not require a liquor review, but we would send it for referrals to Chief and to Mr. Curtis to just look at the plan and everything, which we can do. So we just wanted to come and bring this to city council, ask the question about the liquor. So one thing I was saying is what they're trying to do, it's 50th anniversary for Bojo's. And so we're talking about having a code event, which will allow drinking on the street in the middle block of Minor Street on April 1st. And one of the questions is that all the establishments along Minor Street are allowed to serve into that coda, but we're not opening up the sidewalks. So we're asking, could Tommyknockers, for instance, have a tent to serve beer out of? So that was one of the questions that we had for council. And then the other question, I'm sorry, I blanked on the other question.
water wheel.
Oh yeah, the water wheel. If that's okay for us to go ahead and put the pizza on. As long
We
as
already
it's
have
kind
a
of the,
pizza?
it has to be made, but it would be made to the same standards as the pumpkin.
Yeah.
So it's a fairly easy job to put up. I can put it up with a little bit of help. So we don't have to bother Public Works. So I think we can get it done pretty reasonably.
I think it's a great idea. In fact, February 9th is National Pizza Day. We can do this every year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
Celebrate, like, you guys are involved on a different day for in the
Yeah.
future.
Mary Jane is, from the Argo, is talking to some people about getting it made. Nothing has been set in stone because we wanted to get approval before we
Sure.
move forward.
I think it's fun. A
Okay,
giant pizza. Are you kidding me?
That's-
It's adorable.
okay. Well, are you guys open to the idea of other vendors in that space? They'd be downtown vendors is what I think we're kind of talking about. And we just would need to talk to Carmen, make sure we're good on the liquor sales in there, but we would just follow the laws and the rules for the coda for that. And it would only be like if you were a member of the coda. So for instance, I'd be like Tommyknockers, Two Brothers, Yeti, those kinds of places that are already on Minor Street.
Sure.
Okay, well, we'll move forward then. I need to talk to Wonder about the application and we'll get it to Chief and to you just to review for other needs that we may have there.
Okay, is there anyone against it? I figured it'd be popular. I'm glad to hear that.
Who doesn't like it?
I do want to make one side comment about the water wheel. So they did ask if Mary Jane mentioned possibly putting our logo on it. If that's gonna be like a conflict of interest, that's fine. We can just do pizza.
My recommendation, just because this is for everybody,
Sure.
is let's do the slice of pizza.
Okay, Yeah.
Or rather the pizza.
yeah, not a problem.
I'm just gonna play devil's advocate,
Yes,
because
because,
we do have other establishments in the city
Here.
that also serve pizza.
That's true.
Right, so
True,
I just think in all fairness, and by the way, I'm delighted that Bojo's wants to make this a city downtown affair, not just about Bojo's. So my recommendation is just.
yeah, especially if we do it for future reference and
Right,
stuff. Yeah,
right.
okay, perfect.
Fall under a sign code or something, wouldn't it?
Scott, yeah, you're probably onto something there too, but just to avoid any
Sure.
type of a conflict, I think that would be.
Okay.
Without the
Wonderful.
logo, I think we would consider it the same way we consider a mural, which is not subject to this.
Well, or like, yeah,
Like the pumpkin.
the pumpkin.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so the only other question, we had discussed potentially maybe a city council resolution honoring the event and then maybe proclamation willing to participate, a proclamation. Yeah, sorry.
If council's amenable, I would be honored to make a proclamation I mean, it really, when you think about the mortality rate of restaurants, I don't know what it is nationally, but it couldn't be more than 2-3 years. I mean, so many restaurants come and go. But Bojo's has been with us for 50 years. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Is everybody all right with that?
Totally.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank
And I can give you tidbits or facts or anything you need for that. So,
Okay,
all right.
all right, well,
guys.
thank you very much for joining us, appreciate you coming.
Yes, thanks for
Thank you guys so
having us.
Great idea.
Yeah, and if anybody would like to participate or have any ideas, just feel free to reach out to me at the restaurant when they're most days. So,
You're looking for a bakery, you said, too?
yeah, because we want to make a big cake that looks like a pizza and then have like a cake cutting ceremony and stuff after like this proclamation. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So.
Yeah.
If we can find somewhere local, we prefer.
So are you talking about the cake?
Yes.
So there's a couple cake people. I will get you their names. Sharon
Awesome.
Bissett, for sure, does cakes, but you're talking about.
It doesn't have to, I mean, it doesn't have to be the world's largest cake, but we want it to be a decent size and we want it to look like a pizza.
Square Peg Catering is the name of her company. She is local. She's been here forever and ever and ever. So she'd be great. And I've tasted her cakes. They're awesome.
Yeah, and we want to do a cake and cupcakes.
Oh, yeah.
And then we'd be ordering, the cupcakes would be for the staff in all of our stores.
Yeah,
So-
she's very good. I would highly recommend her. And she works out of the Elks, so she does have a
Square
commercial.
pig, you
kitchen.
said?
Yeah, Square Peg Catering.
Yeah, that's probably a lot easier.
Okay, anything more on Bojo's anniversary?
No, but I want to just add one thing, because I love this pizza thing. I suggested many, many years ago, I think we should do one every month, a different thing on the wagon wheel every single month. I think the pumpkin is awesome, but just think of all the different things we could do over the course of the year. So I'm just throwing that out there. If anybody wants to sponsor the wheel, the cover of the wheel of the water wheel, I think it's a great idea.
Sounds like a lot of work for you, but.
I get to walk around on the inside of the wheel. So, right, you know, some kind of extra, right?
There you go.
I'm sure I'd be good at that. All right, then we will move to the water usage and water resource recovery facility.
Thank you.
You want to start this?
Sure. So, a couple weeks ago, we noted the city council that there was a unexpected amount of meter billing on the water usage at the wastewater plant. So it was about more than double what we normally see, about 1.4 million gallons of water.
this? I'm
It was a couple weeks ago during the regular meeting, the last regular meeting, and I had noted that we had noticed there was a higher than average usage bill at the water treatment facility.
Okay. This is what you're talking about?
Yeah, was it 48,000 or something?
I'll pass this around.
It turns out that, and I'll let John speak to it because he's the professional and expert here, but essentially that water bill is not actually an outlier. It's kind of what we need to operate the plant, but I thought maybe you took, or not the plant, but
All right, the health department requires us to maintain, water provider maintain a 0.2 chlorine residual at the dead ends. So on this map, you see little circles with X's on it. That's where we have to flush water. Historically, when we flush water, it's never been asked of us or required to meter the water. So we just flush it. We got to dechlorinate before it goes to the creek. So they decided to just, at the wastewater plant, you got to do a lot because it's a long dead end. You can see it way down there. So you got the red circle down there. And so we have to flush a lot of water. So in the wintertime, it just makes an ice pond out there and a muddy mess and everything. So they decided to just run it through the plant. And that's why we're getting the high numbers.
No.
because after the.
So I don't know if you want to start metering every time we flush, or if, there's no, I don't think there's an account for that. Pay the city back or whatever we want to, however we want to handle
Is a pun intended, but it's a wash,
that.
right? I mean,
Yeah,
the point of metering, I mean, it would just, if it was 50,000 in one hand, it's 50,000 in the,
Right.
It's just internal.
it's just internal accounting. That's all it is. And
It is good to know, though.
John's worried about the budget looking way out of whack with this. I mean, there's a couple things could do. We can flat rate the wastewater plant. Possibly put a meter on what we're using down there and subtract it from these meter readings. So,
But the other thing is that this is something required for us to maintain the chlorine levels that we need. in
right,
that
we
line.
have to do it.
So it's kind of a
We have
cost of
to
business.
flush it, all those
Yeah.
to keep them up. We got five, well, you got 5 flush points plus they use a metering station up Public Works as a flush.
But it's only during the winter months anyway, yeah.
Pardon?
It's only during winter months.
No, summertime,
Well, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Wait, oh, that, okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the problem is
Yeah.
that.
Actually, during spring runoff,
So it doesn't freeze, and it's going through the meter then, because the other time it goes to the hydrant.
Gotcha.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, if they do it through the hydrant, it's before the meter. If they do it in the plant, it's after the meter.
Gotcha.
And spring they have to flush more because there's more inorganics and organics
Mm.
in the stream that go through the water plant, even though we have microfiltration. It raises that up. So I don't know what you recommend.
John, one solution that we've talked about is maybe moving the water tap down there, the public water tap down there that's down Public Workshop, moving it down by the wastewater treatment plant at the end of that line. And so that line would regularly be flowing and
Yeah.
used with
Yeah,
the public use.
I didn't get time to talk to you about that much.
Okay.
One, that's why they put it up there, because that was always a hard place to flush.
Okay.
Two, at the wastewater plant, they bring semis in. And the staff doesn't know they can get a semi. When they're doing with 314 there, they're moving that over, widening it with a bike path.
Yep.
There's really not much room to put that down there.
Okay. We're looking at maybe the east end. I know we have to look at it
Yeah.
a little further, but this might be a possible
Might
solution.
be a possibility.
Yep.
We
idea.
look into.
I just want to say thank you for looking, because we just saw it on the bills when we were looking last time, and we didn't quite understand what it was, but we will work together on it.
Yeah, thanks.
I don't know where that went to, but
Oh, it's right here.
right, sorry. Yeah, so yeah, that's what the increase was.
All right.
That makes sense.
As far as billing, John, it seems like maybe the easiest thing is just flat rate it.
Well, yeah, that's what I would suggest.
Make more sense.
So we already have a history of the billing.
Yeah.
We could do an average. And then just flat bill off of
You all
it.
right with that?
You guys are the professional in water. I have no, I'm gonna take your advice on all of this.
By having a flat rate for your costs, for your operation, you know what it is, everyone. Take that variation out of it, so you're not chasing that all year long, you know
Right.
exactly what your base cost for public works is gonna be.
Right.
Right. For your operation.
Ed, did you have anything you wanted to add? Thanks for coming tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you come on up? Do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome.
You can bring a chair with you. If there's
Thank
not a
you.
chair there.
Everybody know Ed?
Ed Seward?
He's a water wastewater superintendent.
Or ORC, not superintendent.
ORC.
John's got that paper and we've been reading that meter for 10 years. So we've got data going back 10 years of what we could use as for averaging that flat rate, if you guys would like. Because the billing may be a little bit skewed because we've always had a hard time getting the meters into the system, and then we had those e-coder meters, and that all had to be programmed into the system for the billing. So, and a lot of that, a bunch of those are zeros or like 4s or like 58s.
That meter also, just for everyone's information, reads differently than the other meters that we have. It's a different kind of meter than your typical meter that we have in Idaho Springs.
Yeah, it's a dual meter now. So we had just a single turbine meter on it. But what the single turbine meter does is it will only flow when you have a higher amount of flow. but it won't detect the lower flows, say 10 or 20 gallons per minute,
Mm,
to where that's the amount. So if I'm doing 10 gallons per minute flow in the wintertime out of a sink, that is plenty enough flushing to move the water from town down to the wastewater treatment plant. So every day we get a good chlorine read. In the springtime, it drops. And there's more demand on the chlorines, so we have to wind up flushing more. That winds up being like 20 gallons per minute. So back here we did have that, back here, we changed it to the new meter in February 2020. So that we could detect, because we were down there, I think Paul was doing the backflow preventer test. And we noticed, we were like, well, don't you know, we have the sink running upstairs and that the meter wasn't turning. So we ordered the new one to replace it. And now that we have some accurate flow data for what we're actually doing down there, it has gone up since the new meter was installed to these numbers. There's a couple of other anomalies with it, but I'm working with Paul to get all of that stuff worked out. But there should be plenty of data from 2020 to 2023. If we wanted to try to do a flat rate based on that, then it would work great. And it was quite shocking. I've never looked at this data before. I've never even gotten the bill. So when I got that, I was all like, oh, wow, this is different than what we're getting down here. And so I made this sheet and took all this data from 10 years and put it all in a spreadsheet so you guys could see. More
Very good.
accurately.
very good, thank you. All right, any questions from council? All right, well, let's take 5 for a comfort break and we'll reconvene here at just approximately 7 p.m. for a regular meeting. Ed, thank you. You're welcome. Appreciate it.
Wonder, is that sheriff stuff or what?
Yeah.
You're like, you're constant, you're like, switch it. To get out right now. I don't care. I'll take
It just feels like it's such a long
Are you?
One day I'm in a
So. I have no idea.
We'll give you a better chance.
Are you having?
Good. It's not taking up any room. No.
That's right.
Say thank you. Just hope they don't want me or.
What did you wait anyway?
I have.
You have to.
Okay, councilors are like.
Yeah, we can wait or we can we can capture the water.
Oh, yeah.
How's it going, John?
All right.
I agree with you.
I'm all right. That weird time. of the-
My-
I know.
Like, no.
I like it where something will come in, I started to feel like it was too much.
Yeah. I started to get that feeling too, but I was already so locked in.
They should, I kind of think they should want to, that's my call.
Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty hard call.
Yeah, I know.
That's all cost you new skis. They're really hurting.
But it looks so good.
Well, I think that's what it is. If you're way outside, it has to like-
With it off the train, you got it that way.
Well, I went off to that thing, guys. You got to your right, you got to your right.
It's such a terrible chair.
Oh, really?
Good
No,
way.
you know what? Yeah, that's my girlfriend.
I think it'd be a favorite.
It's a lot.
Like how it was.
Yeah, it was my God. By the end of the night, I was forcing myself to sit back.
Yeah.
I'm a big It's been doing this for years, so.
So, and how did your move?
One time I went down so far, I was like, my chin was on the finger top.
There you go. I think we're better. Try that. The middle one.
I don't want to slow down.
We're hoping to get this better this year.
Part of the chair, Andy. All right, it's a little better.
That middle, try the middle knob.
Bring it all the way back. I keep threatening to just come in here really early and switch these all around. So that could still happen. Sorry, Jack.
Let's talk about it, type of thing.
Still after the holidays, everybody's working their time. What's happening here?
Good.
My wife told me she would so I got her, his and her Rick Sarah. I gotta go in tomorrow and put it.
Yeah. I go in there for half an hour. Just a little.
Well, that's kind of my marching order. I'm just supposed to go charge.
Unfortunately, Doug's birthday is on Saturday. I just bought him 22 hurricanes. He's not quite there. Yeah. Gotta keep him fat.
It's not another year old. Doug's cake. It's another year old. If that's it.
So good. Come on. So good. I know. It's really good. Take that.
Yeah, it's.
Turn it, this is me out.
Try not to.
No, seriously, I got him 12 days. He's a sweet tooth, totally the ball. I'll freeze him. I'll freeze him. Yeah. He'll die. No, but 7 different kinds. Oh.
Greetings, everybody. I would like to welcome everybody to Idaho Springs regular city council meeting for February 13th, 2023, calling it in session at 7 p.m. And we'll start off with roll call, please.
Mayor Chuck Harmon.
Here.
Jeremy Jones.
Here.
John Curtis.
Here.
Art Cacavelli.
Here.
Kate Collier. Here. Scott Pennell.
Here.
Jim Clark.
Here.
All rise for pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. We have an agenda before us tonight. May I have a motion?
Move to approve agenda for February 13th, 2023 meeting.
Thank you, John. And do I have a second?
Second.
And a second from Jimmy. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand and signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Does anyone tonight feel they have a conflict of interest?
I gotta ask, being Public Works Director, if I can approve the bills? Or not?
I don't think there would be a conflict with that.
Okay,
He can't personally benefit, so.
yeah.
All right, a good question. All right. Hearing nothing further, I'm assuming that there's no one else tonight with a conflict. All right. We have minutes before us. May I have a motion?
I'll move to approve the minutes from January 23rd, 2023.
Thank you, Scott. And a second?
A second.
And Art, second. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes, please raise your right hand and signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll move along to the bills. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the bills to February 13th, 2023.
Thank you, Art. And do I have a second?
Second.
And second, Jeremy? Any discussion of the bills? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mayor Chuck Harmon.
Yes.
Jeremy Jones.
Yes.
John Curtis.
Yes.
Art Cacavelli.
Yes.
Kate Collier.
Yes.
Scott Pennell.
Yes.
Jim Clark.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. I know we have at least one public comment tonight. Is there just the one?
There is just the one there.
Oh, all right. Welcome. Please, Nick, come on up.
Go first, huh?
Where do I come up to?
Right here.
Oh, right there on the podium.
Can you just
First
state
time.
your name and address for the record?
My name is Nicholas Gentleman, 2130 Riverside Drive is my, and here in, and Idaho Springs is my residential address. I also have,
And Nick, I just wanted to point out that this is our time to listen. So typically with public comment, there isn't any back and forth. Please don't take that as an indication that we're not responding, because we very much want to hear what you have to say tonight.
perfect, I appreciate it. This is my first time doing this. I'm not much of a meetings person. And fortunately, I haven't had to too much, but I have the business Kind Mountain Collective here on Minor Street, 1535 in the old Opera House. I've been there for 9.5 years. The building sold probably officially in October. And so I've known that I needed to get out. I knew that before then, that it was under contract, and I met the owner and so I tackled that right away. There wasn't a whole lot of options. We looked at the old Evergreen National Bank, which is 1546 Minor Street, across the street. Everybody knows under the clock. And wasn't too excited about it until I looked at it. And I'd been in there before, but I could see us moving in there, and both Lexi, my wife and business partner, got real excited about it. And so that was at the end of August. We looked at it and we told them we were interested, and we started talking numbers already. And so then he came to the city. I don't know how all this works, but through the building department, he was told he needed to pave. I don't even know if he needed to pave it. I think that's something he decided to do, but he needed to add a handicap parking spot. Again, I'm not trying to pretend I know all the details here, but I did see Jared a few times, and he asked, what if we had a place figured out, and I told him, well, we're working on that, but I was saying change of zoning, which was just change of use. Again, just my using the wrong term, from office to retail meant that we had to go through these hoops, and Jared assured me that, oh, well, he's just got to do this parking thing and it shouldn't be a big deal. And Ross Bradley is the guy's name who owns that building, which obviously would be the soap shop as well. He seems to know what he's doing, and he did take a little more time on getting it. He had engineers come up and draw up the plan to pave that, make sure the drainage was correct and all that. And as far as we all knew, that was going to be the one thing. So that needed to be done. And so when I got my application for my business license, I talked to Wonder a couple of times, made sure. So I needed to go ahead and get the old one, and then I would have to get a new one when I moved, because I was planning on being out by the end of January, so I was getting one for a month, but you know, $75 is really nothing in a business budget. So I didn't have a problem with that, but I was wondering, am I going to be able to run my business out of the old bank? And I got referred to Jared. And so then I called Jared and he said, yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. He said, just let me run it by Safe Build. I had no experience with Safe Build at that point in time. But when you drop the name Safe Build to most people, they already know it could be an issue. And so since then, he has had, so Jared wrote me an email, said, yeah, you just need to have an architect come up and do a coded drawing of the building. I'm like, I'm just a retail guy. I don't own buildings other than my house. So I sent that to the landlord. He's like, what? He says, I have in writing everything. He said, everything I needed was to do this parking spot. So anyways, like, what? They say I gotta do this, let's do it. And so he's had, the architect has been up here maybe 4 or 5 different times doing drawings and sending them back and forth. And he told me on the phone today that he's over $11,000 in the architectural drawings. So I got the lady who bought the Opera House has actually been pretty kind and gave me the extra month. And at the end of January, I thought we were still moving forward with this. I thought surely by then, and the landlord thought, he said, yeah, if we can't get this solved in a couple of weeks, we got some real problems, I'm sure. Well, he submitted something a week ago Friday, and then they got back with him today, and now they want him to do something along the lines of like a structural load. He said he literally will have to cut into his walls to do that. And he says, you know, he's dealt with Safe Build a lot, and he's had lawsuits with them that he's won, and he says he's gonna send him one more round of drawings, but he's gotta get, every time this happens, you know, it takes another week to get the architect back up here because you've got other jobs too, you know, and then it takes, you know, a week and a half for Safe Build to get back. So here I am, you know, another couple weeks out. I should have prefaced by, I'm just kind of, I don't know why I'm here exactly. I'm just kind of letting you guys know what's going on, because maybe by next month, he said then the next thing would be him coming to the city council. And he's, you know, he's taking care of all this. Luckily, he's not making me jump through it. Rightfully, he's doing these things. But he said, you know, to tell him why Safe Build is wrong. And he said he's had to do that a number of times before. And it's not what he wants to do, but that's probably the next move. So I guess I'm not asking for anything. I guess I just wanted to inform you guys of where we're at, and it kind of, where I'm at personally is, yeah, now I'm trying to move across the damn street since September. And now I'm looking at like, not only closing down shop, which sucks, but I mean, I did that for COVID and survived. It's like, I gotta move all my stuff into storage and stuff. And I'm just trying to move across the street.
So Nick, I just want you to know, public comment is always limited to 3
I
minutes.
figured,
But I just wanted you to know that you're the only person tonight.
okay,
So, you know, we let you go a little long because we really wanted to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
And they're typically, and they go back and forth. Like I said, it's our opportunity to listen, but
perfect.
I think staff will look into this. And
I'm
we can appreciate your position, you know, I mean, we want you to be really successful, make lots of sales and collect lots of sales tax, you know, it's
Yeah, I
the
love
best benefit of the city. So we don't wish you any harm at all. We just wish you tremendous success.
I didn't feel that way. I just wanted to lay it out what was going on, so that just for information.
No,
so you guys
no, that's
know.
good. It's good to know.
I don't expect any answers, so thanks. I
Good
appreciate it.
Good to know. Thank you.
Yep.
I appreciate it. That is it for public comment tonight, right?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, any unscheduled public comments? I'm assuming no. And then we will move on to our liquor licensing authority with the review of the sales room application. Has council had a chance to review that? And we have a recommendation from staff that it be approved with a pretty minor stipulation that there be some additional signage. And the recommendation is a placement of a sign on each vertical wall of the archway between the two rooms, 2 feet or so above the top of the wall / counter that reads, open alcohol cannot be passed from one room to the other. So I don't think we'll have any problems there.
The only thing I was curious about, we're not talking like a paper sign here, we're talking about like an official kind of sign, something that's, you can't just rip off the wall easily, am I right, or no, what?
Something permanent.
Yeah, so that's what I was talking about, something more permanent.
All right, council would like to see something, of some type of permanent sign, maybe screwed to the wall or something. Any other,
I think it would look better for the businesses as well.
yeah,
Sure,
Yeah.
less tacky.
Yeah.
any other comments? All right, I would make the motion, that we approve, the sales room application for 1428 Minor Street for Slaymaker Sellers. With it being a conditional approval that placement of a permanent sign on each vertical wall of the archway between the two rooms, 2 feet or so above the top of the wall / counter reading, open alcohol cannot be passed from one room to the other.
I second that.
Kate, second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor Chuck Harmon.
Yes.
Jeremy Jones.
Yes.
John Curtis.
Yes.
Art Cacavelli.
Yes.
Kate Collier.
Yes.
Scott Pennell.
Yes.
Jim Clark.
Yes. All right, well, thank you. And Kent, glad to have you in the audience. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right, we'll move on to our resolutions, starting with resolution number 2. Do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve resolution number 2, series 2023, a resolution adopting and approving the City of Idaho Springs Historic Resources Survey Plan 2022.
All right, thank you, Scott. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second from Kate. Any discussion? Kind of light reading for council, huh?
I enjoyed it, it was good reading.
That was a lot of information. All right, that was, yeah, that was really a good package that was put together.
Yeah, absolutely, very concise.
Just like to note that this project's been ongoing in the city since 2020. And we got derailed by COVID like several times. So bringing this to a close right now is kind of neat that we're able to actually do it because we've been working on it for a very long time.
Is this a grant project? Is that what it is?
Yes, sir. We received like approximately $14,000 from the state for it. So they're also going to be very happy that we're concluding the grant.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And any further discussion? A roll call, please.
Mayor Chuck Harmon.
Yes.
Jeremy Jones.
Yes.
John Curtis.
Yes.
Art Cacavelli.
Yes.
Kate Collier.
Yes.
Scott Pennell.
Yes.
Jim Clark.
Yes. All right, very good. We will move along here. There are no ordinance first readings tonight. So we will go to ordinance second reading, and just for council's information, there was an ever so slight typo on the fee schedule. And what it is, Tier 2 usage type went from 631 to 614. And it should be saying that it goes to 644. So it should be going up a teeny bit, not down. So that is the one typo, very minor. But I wanted to bring it to council's attention. And with that minor change, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 1, series 2023, an ordinance amending rates and charges for water and sewer service and making conforming amendments to the Idaho Municipal Code with the changes outlined by the mayor for Tier 2.
Thank you, Jeremy. Do I have a second?
Second.
And Art, second. Any discussion?